to infinity and beyond.
Hey guys, hope you are going well. So today's video is coming to you so incredibly late, but I couldn't not film it. Sorry for the double negative there, but I had to share with you my favorite indie movies from 2016, regardless of how late to the party that I am. I made one of these top 5 videos talking about favorite indie movies from 2014, from 2015, so of course I had to do 2016. There are always so many great indie movies that release every year, and as always, this is just a starting off point. Please note very specifically that I'm not going to be talking about the indies that were featured at this year's Oscars. I'm not going to talk about Manchester by the Sea or about Moonlight, incredible movies in their own right, but they've had their critical acclaim, so enough talking about them. Let's talk about some others. Starting off at number 5, it's the documentary Weiner. I got to see this one at the Sydney Film Festival, and it still remains my favorite documentary from 2016 that I got to see. It follows the very public fall from grace of the politician Anthony Weiner as he runs for mayor of New York City. It was not at all what I thought it was going to be. When I read the synopsis about what the documentary was about, I didn't think something following a political figure would interest me nearly as much as it did. And that is mainly because this fly on the wall style doco takes a very observational approach to the character study of this man who wants to do good for his city and wants to make a difference, but he just can't stop getting into trouble. Dude can't stop sexting. This documentary team managed to somehow capture him red-handed during this scandalous time, and it's not the first time he's been caught in a scandal, and it is just so crazy to watch it all unfold. His poor wife who stands by him. It is unrestricted access. It is entirely humiliating. It is so intimate of these people's lives. Fascinating. At number 4, it is Green Room. This is written and directed by Jeremy Saulnier. I am a huge fan of his previous film Blue Ruin, and Green Room is a bloody thriller that does not disappoint. It follows this punk band who are just in the wrong place at the wrong time. They witness a murder they shouldn't have and suddenly find themselves at the top of a hit list of a bunch of neo-Nazi skinheads led by Patrick Stewart. It's basically all filmed in a one room or sort of one venue type of setup. It is super tense, it is super violent, and I was really not expecting it to unfold in the bloody messy way that it does. It is also really noteworthy because it is one of the final performances from the very beautiful Anthony Yelchin. It's a pretty simple premise, just done really cool, really tense, really bloody, and Patrick Stewart is pretty unforgiving. Remind me not to get on his bad side. Number 3, it is American Honey, and oh, how I adored this movie. It's a little on the long side. It's kind of whimsical and loose in its narration, so it's kind of not for everyone, but I loved its portrait of the American dream so much. The movie follows the wanderlust teenager named Star who has pretty much nothing to lose, and she gets caught up with this band of misfits led by Shia LaBeouf, who, by the way, I am a non-ironic fan of. Genuinely, I think he is pretty amazing. It's a more observational kind of unfolding narrative. It feels so raw. It feels really just like semi or loosely scripted as we follow Star. She gets caught up with this traveling band of gypsies across the Midwest. She falls in love, she parties hard, and just kind of really loses herself in this experience, and I just think it is so beautifully done. At number 2, this next title has to be the sweetest, most uplifting of all the ones I'm mentioning today, and that is the very colorful Captain Fantastic. Starring one of my all-time favorite actors, it is Viggo Mortensen, and here he plays a father of 6 kids living off the land in a remote forest part of America. They're hunting, they're gathering, they're learning skills to survive. You could say this is a bit of a road trip movie as well, because their mother has passed away and they have to pack themselves up in a rusty old school bus and drive down to the city to visit her only surviving relatives. And in that, there is the main debate about the fate of the kids, if it is okay to have them live off the land or if they need to live in the city to get a proper education. And this is where Viggo Mortensen is just so strong, playing these really nuanced father roles of he's just trying to do the best parenting that he knows how, but is that really the best thing for his kids? There is a reason that Viggo was nominated for Best Actor at this year's Oscars. It is a really touching performance from him, and it is a beautiful film, and I loved every second of it. We have finally arrived at number one of my very favorite indie movies from 2016, and that was a horror film, The Witch. Set in the 1600s in New England, this follows a family that get banished from the village and have to move and live in a very isolated part of the world on the edge of a very spooky forest. And yes, said forest may have a very gruesome witch living in it. The family in this film have such ingrained beliefs in religion, in superstition, and it just controls every single step that they take. It's a historical commentary on what life was like in those times. They do speak ye olde English, so it is kind of pulling on the ear and hard to get every single word that they say, but it does really get you in the zone, in the spirit of the tone, to be swept up in this horrible series of events that just gets more and more shocking and bizarre and just messed with my head so much. You know, you want to believe in the goodness of people, that deep down people are inherently good, but this film just messed with me so much. There you have it, guys. They have been some of my favorite indie movies that I watched during 2016. There were so many more, so many more. The list goes on and on and on, but they were just some that I wanted to share with you as ones that really stood out to me in their respective genres, and because they have just been done so well. You should definitely share with me some of your favorite indie movies from the year. Maybe I've seen them, maybe they need to be added to my watch list, because there are so many that also kind of slip through the cracks and fly under the radar and that I sometimes miss, so I always love hearing your recommendations. Don't forget, you can also subscribe to my channel here if you haven't already. You can keep up to date with my other movie and TV reviews, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.